Hey beauties, EJ Love here. So I'm just going to wait for a few people to jump on. I feel like I haven't live streamed in forever. It's been ages. Well, I did some live streaming at my retreat, but not like full on selfie thing going on. So yeah, just when people jump on, please say hello. Let me know that you're there. I can see a few people. Oh, some of my priestesses are on. Hello. Beautiful. So it's a pretty interesting story I'm going to share with you tonight. If you haven't seen already, there's an article on Yahoo called From Call Girl to Counsellor is the title. And I just randomly found out about this. I had an email I received and I was like, oh, this is about me. And I read it and I was like, hang on a minute. Like, some of that stuff isn't actually true. That's not what I said. And so I put the link up so you guys can read, but I didn't want to share it yet because I wanted to share with you what I actually said, what's actually true. I mean, some of it is, and it kind of has a sort of gist, but the way that people might perceive things or I guess judge things is probably a little bit different to what has come out in the article. So I really just wanted to speak my truth. And I got a little bit triggered because when I read the article, I was like, thinking this is not true, that's not what I said. I'm being quoted saying things that I haven't actually said and words that I haven't used and that I would not use because of the interpretation that might go with them. So yeah, so I got a little bit triggered because for me, being in my truth is really important. Like, it's one of my high values. It's my integrity to be in my truth. And I went and I processed this trigger and I really got that I'm really needing to be heard and I'm needing to be understood. And so this is why I'm doing this live stream, because I really want to share with you exactly my truth. And this is something I actually haven't talked a lot about. I was planning to talk a lot about it, but I've just been focused on a lot of other things. So I guess in a way that this article coming out is kind of had given me a bit of a push and a bit of a jump start to be like, okay, I'm going to tell you guys now all the interesting stuff, all the fun stuff. Hey beauties. Oh, hey, so many beautiful women on here at the moment. Where are all the men at? So I'm going to actually kind of read through the article and tell you the bits that are not what I said and the bits that's really true, and give you a few little stories and stuff in there because I know many of you will relate to it. I don't think it's pretty interesting, to be honest. So the first thing I want to talk about is the title. The title here, not the title, sorry, the under title. I totally get the media doesn't always say exactly what you say, but yeah, so this is my opportunity. Thank goodness for opportunities that we have to do these lives to get our message out to our followers in this way. And so I guess for me, when I read this article, what my instant thought was this is actually kind of a little bit offensive to women that work in the sex industry. And those of you that know me, I'm very sex positive and I'm very much about getting rid of the stigma and getting rid of the shame, and I hold space for people to heal shame. So the fact that a few words in there were quite stigmatizing and like the words of selling their body really kind of was like, I would never say something like that, because that's not actually what I believe. I don't believe that women that work in the sex industry sell their bodies. I believe that they provide a service. Okay, whether that service is for intimacy, for sexual expression, for physical touch, for companionship, to be heard, to be understood, for empathy. Like, there's lots of reasons that people go to see sex workers, and it's not necessarily just because they want to have sex. Actually, more often than not, it is really because they are wanting to express something. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But I think that it's just really important that I share from my point of view. And when I share this is from my personal experience, and I can't speak for everyone else that has worked in the sex industry or does work in the sex industry. So when it says there, okay, so we start with the bit where it says, actually, from call girl to counsellor. Okay, so first of all, I'm not a counsellor. I'm not a qualified counsellor. I'm a coach is the name that I would use, a relationship coach, or love coach, sex coach, any of those titles. But counsellor is, I'm not certified as a counsellor, so that's not the title that I would use. The second thing that says using an escort is usually just a quick fix for an underlying issue. So back to kind of what I said before, really there's so many different reasons, and sometimes yes, it's an escape, okay? It is like something that's on the outside world to the other person's reality, okay? And I've heard this, the word, this, it's just an escape, it's like another world, and that definitely can be definitely true. But what I do love about this is that the fact is that I believe that a lot of women that work in the sex industry provide a healing, okay? Because when you go to see someone, like, it is actually like seeing a counsellor, right? So many women that I know that work in the industry are like, oh, it feels like I'm a counsellor, right? Because people do open to you because you have no connection to the outside world. You have no connection to their friends or the family. You're not going to talk about them. People also assume that you will not judge them. Okay, it's like, well, if you do this kind of work, you probably won't judge me for anything that I've done. So people tend to open up to you in that space about things they would never talk to their closest friends about, their partners, their wives, they will tell you things. And to sit there and hold space for that it can be very healing. And to not judge that this is how we heal shame, right? So it's so amazing. Like, I have some clients now. I mean, I don't have sex with clients anymore. Like, I moved into fully as coaching and healing, and my tantric and sexual healing and all sorts of stuff that I do. But even now they come to me and the same thing. They open up. It's in a different way, but they're still opening up about, and they're even opening up more to me because they're coming with a really good intention. Yeah, it is, right? It's really interesting. So I don't think people understand that. And it's really interesting if you don't, and I say this all the time, it's like you can't really assume or judge something until you've done it, until you have experienced it. Okay, so that's kind of the first thing, is like, yes, there can be issues, like sometimes the people aren't getting intimacy at home in their relationship and they need to seek outside of that. That's very common. And it can be just because they need some sort of escape, and it can be just getting these needs met, okay? So, companionship, expression, healing, there's lots of different things, right? I don't see this as sexual gratification as it says in the article either necessarily. It's definitely like a sexual expression. And then there is sometimes where people are just going to numb out, like they're just distracting themselves from their lives and needing a release, okay? So men actually also, they ejaculate for emotional stress relief, right? So this is where the addiction to ejaculation comes in, and the work that I do now actually helps rewire men out of that and into actually being able to have other types of orgasms and full body orgasms and that sort of stuff. So interestingly, my work kind of goes the other way now, but yeah, so they might come for their stress relief as well, like just to get something out of their system, like, oh, there's all this pent up sexual energy that they just want to release, right, because they've been stressed out or whatever. Okay, so this definitely is, sometimes these issues, right? Okay, so second thing that it said in the article was that I ran a popular brothel in Perth, in WA, for several years. That's not true. I actually got offered a job managing as a manager at a parlour in Perth, which I turned down. Okay, so this is when I first got into the sex industry. It was just a long story, but I used to be a swinger, right? And I used to run swingers parties in Perth, and I got invited to this swingers party, which was being held at this brothel. And so when I got to this brothel and I was like, yay, swingers party, there was like not really much happening, but the madam, she just took a real liking to me. Like, she just took a bit of a shining, and we got to talking for like hours. And then all these guys started to come in, and I was drinking, and then I ended up doing a booking, right? Like, I didn't even work there, so this is kind of how it happened. And so I was like, I don't even work here. Like, so yeah, so all these guys were like, oh, like, can I book you? And I'm like, I don't work here. Like, I'm just come to party, right? So it was pretty funny, but anyway, I'm going to cut this real short because I want to talk about this another time. I'll talk about the whole story another time. And then because I've been swinging all the time, I was like, oh, this is just what I've been doing like for free all the time. Now I'm just going to get paid for it. So anyway, she offered me a job, and I thought to myself, well, let me see, I can work 50 hours a week and make the same money I could make in 3 hours, right? So that's when I started out working privately, pretty much straight away. Okay, so yeah, so I didn't actually run a brothel or a parlor. It's really, yeah. And when I first started, yeah, it was fun. It's like what I was been doing for like years of my life, and just getting paid for it. Like, it seems like, well, how did I not do this before? So the next thing, I'm just going through the article here so I can see. Okay, I want to make a note here is that the photographer has been misquoted. The photographer is actually Nick Farley from Kimberly Imagery with most of these photos. Okay, so shout out to you, Nick. I will tag you after, and I'm really sorry that you got misquoted, that your name, the name that is on here is the name of another photographer that I have, but he didn't take these photos. So that just was a bit confusing, a bit of confusion by the media. And there's also another photo in there by Cameron Archery, which is me in the orange silky kind of thing. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a nude, implied nude shot. Anyway, so where were we? Okay, so identifying patterns. Okay, says that I came up with a unique business idea. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. So about a couple of years into working as an escort, I was in a relationship, and I was doing it at the same time. I was working and in this relationship, and he really struggled with that, which is actually quite common, like a lot of, which is, you know, kind of to be expected in many ways. And he would just kind of block out that I was basically having sex with other men during the day and then coming home to him at night. And then when I got home, I was like, oh, I don't want to have sex. Like, I can't be bothered. Like, I don't want to work. And I really got disconnected from my sex drive. And I kind of felt like I kind of wired myself that sex was work. Okay, so I was really disconnected from my body. And this had been from years of one-night stands, of swinging, of belief systems around, you know, having to please and not being able to receive pleasure and all sorts of stuff, right? Not just from working in the sex industry. So my body was pretty numb. Colin, the photos are on the link, okay? So if you go to the link with the full story that I'm going through, yeah. So then that relationship ended, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be like this woman that doesn't want to have sex. What's wrong with me? What happened to this wild, crazy sexual person that I thought I was? And so I ended up going to see a sex coach, and we did a tantra massage. And after we did the tantra massage, I was just like, EJ, this is what you're meant to do. This is what you're meant to be doing. This is going to feel a lot more in alignment for you. And the reason was that, the reason for that was because I'd started on the spiritual path, and I'd started doing healing on myself, and I'd started doing Reiki for other people, and started doing psychic readings for people, and I've been down the spiritual journey. And so there was this part of me that was like all spiritual and woo-woo over here. And then there's this part of me that was doing the sex work, and I was like, I felt, and this is where the part where it says damaging my soul, I felt in a way, and these were the words I used at the time, that was like not in alignment with my spiritual path. Like it was kind of damaging. Here's me being all spiritual over here, and then me having, you know, being a sex worker over here, right? So this was where I was kind of like a bit confused, and there was part of me was like, how do I like bring them together? Like, I don't understand. Like, how can I make them, like, how can I fill myself up and feel more fulfilled when I knew that wasn't quite what I wanted to be doing, and it was a means to an end at the time. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this and build up my healing business. And then that's when Tantra came into my world, and I was like, it was like this aha, but like a really obvious aha. I was like, sex and spirituality go together, right? So when it says the words damaging my soul, that was like a thought that I had, but you know, it was only because I was getting into all the spiritual stuff and I was just not understanding how it all fitted in together. So I don't believe that, you know, sex work is necessarily, you know, damaging for your soul, because it depends on you as a person. What is your calling? You know, what is your purpose? And that might be your calling. That might be your purpose, right? For me at the time, it was because I've been going on this spiritual journey, I was discovering that it wasn't quite in alignment for me anymore. So this is when I started practicing Tantra. Thank you. And so I started doing Tantra massage and started bringing that in with my clients. And so it's been stuff really started to shift for me, okay? So that's kind of how that evolved and how this business, and it just evolved over time. I did lots of workshops and programs and trainings and mentoring and all sorts of stuff around sexual healing and Tantra and relationship coaching and things like that. So that's how I ended up getting to that. And then through that, I also worked with the Love Coach Academy. Okay, so this is where it says I went to a specialist retreat in California. I've never been to California, so but the people that from the Love Coach Academy came over here, and I did a retreat with them, and then I continued to do work online with them. I've done a few different courses and advanced relationship mastery stuff, which is amazing, by the way. And so this is where my relationship coaching comes in, right? Which has also become part of the sexual healing that I do. So here it also says that I also teach a unique form of relationship counselling I call sexual healing. These are actually separate things, like sexual healing and relationship counselling are not the same thing at all. But I do blend them together, right? I blend them together however that needs to look for each person, okay? So generally some people, like most of my clients, are getting help with your relationship and sexual healing. Like they'll come for one thing and then they'll get the other. I'll be like, okay, I need this help with my relationship, and then they realize, oh, actually I really need some sexual healing. So, or vice versa, and like it tends to be that the men will come for the sexual healing, and then we need to go into the relationship emotional stuff. But they won't necessarily come for emotional stuff. They'll come for sexual healing, and then we'll get to the emotional stuff through the sexual healing, right? And then a lot of women, they'll come for the emotional stuff, and then they'll go into the sexual healing. It tends to be, it's not on everyone, but that tends to be how it's quite interesting, really. So, where else? Okay, it says, I understand the human body than others because I spent so long exploring it and pleasing others. So I think here, to reframe that, I definitely don't think I understand the human body better than others, but I definitely understand how pleasure and orgasm works, okay? Because I've spent a lot of time exploring that in myself and with my clients, okay? So I definitely don't think I know the human body better than other people, but I definitely understand how we're wired. And it's more about, I understand the connection between, you know, our bodies and our energy and our spirit and our sexual energy. That's more so it. So really, yeah, Colin, I actually don't think it's that they're shy. It's more so they've been conditioned not to be emotional. So until I provide a safe space for them to feel open, which is generally on the first session, and even I get messages on Facebook with a lot of men opening up to me simply because of the space that I hold. So yeah, so they come because they feel safe, right? As soon as they feel safe, a man feels safe, he will open up his soul to you. But sometimes that takes, you know, that's a lot. I mean, I've done a few posts on this. That's a whole other live stream. But and if you want me to do that live stream, I would love to. And then they come because their need in their mind is like, okay, I want to be a better lover, or I want to get rid of, I want to last longer, that sort of thing. And so they'll come for that, and then they'll open up to me about everything else, because a lot of the time, and this is what I'm really noticing with a lot of my male clients, is they've been so emasculated. This is why this stuff is going on. So I've got to help them rewire all of that. And a lot of it is doing a lot of the emotional healing and looking at their patterns and heaps of stuff. I'm going to get into that right now. But yeah, okay, so where are we going next? Okay, she doesn't earn as much as her escorting days. She believes her unique sexual healing techniques are far more rewarding. So actually I do earn as much as my escorting days, but I earn it from different income streams. So my programs and workshops, retreats, coaching, all sorts of stuff. Which is for a long time, when I was, a sex worker, I was just like, I just want to be able to do all this stuff, and it was kind of like, this is what I'd been working towards. So it's really beautiful that I've got into that place. It was always in my head, I just want to make as much money escorting, but doing like really helping people, like really like making a difference, being like on a grander scale. This is where I was aiming to go, and I'm there. So if there's anyone out there, any other women that work in the industry that feel the same way, like I'm telling you, it's totally possible. And yeah, so I have a lot of women that are the same that I work with, that I help, and they, we're working towards that. So it's definitely possible. So I definitely believe that what I do now is far more rewarding. It's just more in alignment for me. It just fills me up more, and that's just for me personally. So I really want to reiterate that it's not going to be the same for everyone that works in the industry. That's just for me personally. I'm more doing what I have been working towards. Like I was, I always had another business. I always had something else. I was like, okay, I'm going to build this, I'm going to build that. I knew that sex work wasn't forever. I knew that was just like at the time, it was just what I was doing for now, and building up what my real purpose, and working towards and getting to know what my purpose was, because I was really confused for a while. I didn't really know. And so it's interesting that I found my purpose through sex work, right? It's like through working in the sex industry, like I found my purpose. So I really am grateful for all the experiences that I've had in that. So what else does it say? Okay, I can help people overcome those deep-rooted problems, and it's a great feeling. That's true, actually. I don't know why I'm saying that it's not true, but it is. People come to me. Hang on. I'm reading my own notes now. Okay, yes, I know. I had a point. I wrote little notes in red next to the article bits that I wanted to point out, and now I've confused myself, but it's fine. Yes, this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to make this point here. A lot of people find my tantra and sexual healing practices, or my work that I do, initially because they're looking for an escort or they're looking for an erotic massage. And they find my website and they say, because I get them, they call me up, they're like, I read your website, I've never heard of this stuff before, and I was looking for escort, but this is what I need. And because I've put a lot of information on my site, which I know will just help them to understand, I guess, really how their mind is, or how they're wired, and in terms of what they're really wanting. Okay, so those how they'll get their needs met, those needs I talked about before, from what I offer. Okay, and more providing long-term benefits. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I offer an intimate touch session where we consciously explore giving and receiving touch, right? I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed, actually, so I don't know why. Maybe I'm ambidextrous. Yeah. So, now I've lost my train of thought. Okay, I've got to stop. I've got to stop reading comments. Okay, alright. Okay, intimate touch, that's right. And we consciously explore giving and receiving touch within consent and boundaries. The beautiful thing about this is that you get to understand how you actually want to be touched, and what it's like to be in your body, and know what it is that you want, right? Because there's so many men used to come to me and be like, oh, so what are you into? What do you like? They're like, I don't know, just whatever. I'm like, and then later on they'll be like, oh, I really like my ears being touched, and I really like, when you massage my balls in this way, this sort of thing. And I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me that at the start? So now, like, I do this practice where I teach them how to really tune and be in their body. And the reason why they don't know is a couple of things. Is usually because that's not even in their bodies, they're in their heads, right? Okay, so they're trying to like tell you, like, they don't know, right? Because their head is trying to decide, but it's the body that has the answers. Or B, they're in a story about not feeling worthy to receive pleasure, or not wanting to be, or can I even ask for that? Like, I don't know if she'll do that, or this sort of thing. So the practice that I do, the intimate touch session, takes all of that away. We get out of that story, we get back into the body, and we tune into really what our bodies want, okay? Because sometimes we think we know what we want, but most of the time we're choosing from what we think the other person might be okay with, or what we've had before, or maybe we just don't know, like this sort of thing. So we just go with whatever. So this is a really beautiful way of exploring touch. And you know, some people have been so used to having the same thing over and over and over, they're in like a sexual rut, and then we go and explore touch that has never been explored before, intimacy connections and practices, and you know, I do this beautiful undressing ritual, and most people say to me, I've never like had my clothes taken off like that before, like no one has ever, like, and it's beautiful. It's actually one of the most favorite things that people say that they really love. And it's so simple, right? So what I feel like sometimes happen is people sometimes they come for what they think they want, and then they get what they really need. And that's the real key about what I do, is I think that in their mind, you know, it might be, yes, I want intimacy, or yes, I want stress relief, or whatever, but they end up getting a healing or a deeper connection to themselves that has longer benefits, okay, that's going to start rippling out and affecting the rest of their life, okay? So that's kind of, they'll get what they really, really need, right? So, okay, next one. People can be really judgmental about what I did and what I do now. Well, actually, that's not true either, because I've actually had like so many people support me, so many people reach out to me. I actually haven't experienced much judgment. I can't even say that I have experienced being judged, and I think it's probably because the way I come across, I don't know, but or maybe it's just who I attract or who shows up is very supportive. I've been very lucky that I've had really supportive family. It was really hard to tell my parents, but when I did, they were awesome about it. So I love you, Mum and Dad. They're so cool. And so I'm being really blessed in that way. But other than that, it's been pretty good. Like I can't say that I've experienced much judgment. And I also, you know, I teach around judgment. I teach people around what judgment means and where that's coming from. And so even if maybe it's just that I just don't feel that judgment. Maybe people are judging and I just don't even, like, it's just not in my reality to receive that judgment, because I just know it's not my stuff, right? It's not even my stuff. It's their stuff. It was their perceptions or their assumptions of what someone that works in the industry might be like, right? Or, you know, they've been told that it's wrong or bad, or conditioned that way, or, you know, or that it's sinful, or whatever it is. And that's their stuff. That's not my stuff. So you know, that's their judgment, but I'm not receiving it. Like, so, everything's been really positive, which for me, like, this is part of my message, is that let's get rid of the stigma, let's get rid of the shame, and let's embrace everything, really, like wherever people are at. So, yeah. Okay. So I found it hard to maintain personal relationships. Yes, I think I just wanted to touch on this. That's definitely, it was true for me, but also because I think I was in a story that no one will want me if I do this work. And when you're in a story like that, of course, that's what's going to show up for you, because there are women that work in the sex industry that have amazing relationships and may feel like, you know, we've got a smaller pick, like, oh, my cousin's here, hi. I wonder if he knew about this before. Anyway, you know, maybe not as many options, right? So I think that, yeah, I have struggled in the past, but I also think it depends what your belief systems are. You know, what do you believe to be true about relationship, and did you, like, what you do stop you from having that? Okay, and because it's amazing what you attract based on what you believe, right? Okay, so what I said here, I'm no longer letting people use my body for self-gratification. I think the wording here is using my body. I don't ever feel like that was what was going on. And this just goes back to what I said about people getting their needs met. So, Yeah, so just that people were coming in and getting their needs met. That's all it is, like just needs met. Yeah, so what else? I assist. Okay, so it says here I also help sex workers who are looking to get out of the industry. That's not quite true either. I help sex workers who want to add more tantric practices, more healing and sexual healing into their work. Okay, so kind of like where I was like, how do I bring more healing to my work? How do I be like, what's more in alignment for me? And how do I combine my spiritual self with this? Okay, so this is where a lot of women are coming to me, and I'm training them in some tantric practice so that they can start moving into that and bringing more in and being more in what feels in alignment for them. Okay, so that's not going to be true for everyone, but that's more so. And so eventually they might not end up having sex with their clients. They might move fully into, like I have, into Tantra or coaching or however that looks for them, and they might move out of that, but it's not necessarily the intention. Or they may say, hey, I want to be able to move fully into this, and I can, you know, I do help women with that. I actually have a business coaching background as well, so but not necessarily focused around helping women get out of the industry, because most of them that come to me are in the industry and they just want to evolve their work into more coaching or healing. And so yeah, so that's kind of how I help them there. The last one. Oh no, there's a couple more. It is selling their bodies. So what does it say? I've been running workshops with other sex workers, giving them the tools they need to be able to run their own sexual healing services rather than selling their bodies. So I would never use the word selling their bodies. Like that for me is like, if I hear someone say selling their bodies, I'm like, that kind of grates me. I'm like, no, that's not what it is. Because again, service, it's meeting someone's needs. You know, intimacy, connection, physical touch, sexual expression, communication, to be heard, to be understood, companionship, empathy, sexual expression, self-expression, stress relief, healing, all of that is, you know, it's not about the body, okay? It's not selling the body, it's a service, okay? So, and everyone's different, you know, everyone that works in the industry provides something different and different things to different people, right? So, yeah, so there's just a whole various range of things, and I think we need to get out of that mindset that sex workers sell their bodies, because that's not what they sell, okay? Point made, I hope. And yeah, I mean, there are sides. I just want to add on here, there are different sides to the industry. Yes, there is where it's been abused and where people are forced into things like sex slavery and stuff like that, and there's those sides of it, right? So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about women who choose this as a career, okay? And this is what they're doing. This is a career choice, and they're providing a service effectively. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, and the last one is, I've helped women like myself to leave the traditional sex industry and tap into this market, helping others with physical touch rather than with intimacy. Well, again, that just kind of reiterates my point about women leaving the sex industry, which is, as I said, it's more evolving into slightly shifting their work into something that is more spiritual, tantric, healing, this sort of thing. And a lot of women I notice are already doing that without having it labelled as that, okay? So a lot of women I meet in the industry are already providing that without actually labelling it as tantric, or, you know, a lot of women already coach, like, without, you know, or effectively become counsellors without actually having that label attached to it. So, yeah, that's quite common as well. So, I want to add here, it says, helping others with physical touch rather than with intimacy. Physical touch is intimacy, so intimacy is like a whole range of things: physical touch, connection, just, you know, being seen, being heard, looking into someone's eyes. But physical touch is a huge part of that. I mean, one of my sessions is called the intimate touch session, which involves physical touch. So yeah, it's kind of, yeah. So that doesn't really make sense, that sentence there. So yeah. So pretty much, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through. If anyone wants to ask me any questions, please feel free to just ask me anything. I really am an open book. I am writing a book, actually. I should put the link up, and I'm going to be telling you my full story, because this is only like teensy tiny part of it. I also did a podcast interview recently, which I haven't shared yet. I don't know why I haven't shared it, but I'm going to share it, which was taken, which I did just after I'd come out about working in the sex industry in December last year. So I was actually, I'm gonna share that. I'll share that tomorrow. I'll commit to posting that tomorrow. It was actually really good, because it was a lot of like questions about what it was like. The book, I think it's tinyurl.com. Heal Love Book is the URL, if you can jump on. And you can actually sign up, so you get like a discounted copy. So this is pretty much what I just wanted to delve into, from what was in the article to what's really true, because some of it is actually totally not true at all. Some of it just is the wording slightly different. So and the way I've been quoted is the wording is quite different. And what I also really got is that some of the stuff, that how I would word it, might not make sense to people that don't do this, aren't aware of this work, or don't work in the sex industry, or are more mainstream. So I think I really just wanted to make this really clear. And so I think that she's appealed, like the journalist has written this to appeal to kind of more mainstream people. So I'm grateful to her for that, but I'm also like big on being in my truth, and I just have to speak my truth. Like, it's just, I just can't not, right? So yeah, and also from this, I've already been contacted by a TV show to also share on that. So that's not confirmed yet, but it's exciting. Very excited about that. Yeah. I don't want to give too much away yet, but yeah. So hopefully they want me to share my story and maybe some other things on the TV show. So I'm excited for that, and hopefully I'll get to express this exactly as I am now. There was something else I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it is. I'll probably remember after I get off the live stream. So yeah, so that's pretty much, this is my truth from that article. I feel like this is going to be the start of many articles that might come out that are not quite, it's kind of how the media is. I just remembered what I was going to say. Okay, this is what I really wanted to just highlight, was that the reason why I probably got quite triggered is because I'm very big on supporting the sex work community and getting rid of the stigma. And so I was more worried that the sex workers would be like not liking what I said, basically, when it's not what I said, when I really want to be supportive, because it has been an amazing journey in my life, and I'm so grateful for it, and for all the women that I've met, and all the women that are my friends and my sisters, and who you are, and all the women that are my clients that I work with. And so yes, it's really important for me that they know that my sisters and my any woman that works in the sex industry, like that I love you and I support you, and I'm going to do my best to just keep bringing more awareness and helping to people see what this is really like, and that it's not how it's stereotyped, and that we need to get rid of the shame, because we're beautiful human beings, and we're doing a lot of amazing work in the world and holding a lot of space for people to heal. And yeah, so of course, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here to be an ear and yeah, just know that you're not alone, right? So I'm here, and yeah. So I'm going to go shortly. If anyone has any questions, comments, reflections, please feel free to mention this now, or forever hold your peace. Maybe not forever, just on this live stream. Okay. All right, beautifuls. I'm going to go. Thank you so much. I'm going to do another live stream soon. I don't know what this one will be about, but I've got a few things up my sleeve. So much love to all of you. Have a beautiful night. Have a beautiful Easter. Much love. Bye.